Here we go, another episode of Knicks Verse, and today we're going to take a look at those pesky Chicago Bulls. Did some stuff, did some moving during the offseason, got a few pieces. Let's see if they can pull out a better next 3-4 years, I think is what they're trying to do. 5 years, they've got a good little squad at a good little median age. So it's going to be a force. They're going to be a force. The only thing I'm worried about is what can you see them in the playoffs playing a 6-game set once and then again and then again and then getting to the finals? Do you think that this team is built to have the ability to wear someone down? Offensively, it looks like that could be the case because you have great and I'm not trying to offend anybody, but you have fantastic B players that have great offensive abilities. And you have a point guard who is not afraid to be unselfish, and some high energy type players overall can provide depth for this roster. So when you're looking at it logically, realistically, and you see how it's made up, you think, okay, well, offensively they look pretty cool. Let's see what else they can provide. Now, this Bulls team, when I watch them, I will look at them and I will think to myself, okay, I want to see what they do situationally. I want to see who shows up where, because this isn't a situation like Miami when LeBron went to Miami, for example, or Kevin Durant when he went to Golden State. This is a bunch of really good pieces that are now together. So will this be a team? Someone's going to have to sacrifice if that's going to be the case. Winning requires some sort of sacrifice. And for this team, as wonderfully offensively talented as it is, someone's going to have to sacrifice overall. We'll see what happens. Head-to-head matchup, Knicks against the Bulls. We've played them 235 times. Remember, this is also the Michael Jordan-led Bulls at one point, and the led Bulls at one point. D. Rose was also on the Bulls. And at the time, Melo was also playing for the Knicks. So, based off this, 124 wins to 111. I think we see them about 4 times. We see them 4 times this season. So it's going to take a couple seasons till we get back up there and win that head-to-head matchup. So not for the Chicago Bulls in this case, but we can definitely try. In the playoffs, 24-12. And I think most of that was, if you see here, it's 81 prior to Jordan, and everything else is after Jordan. Is with Michael Jordan on the Bulls. So 96, 94, 93, 92, 91, and 89. Cool. Great. Now let's look at the season series from last season. 2-1. We saw them in February, twice in February, and then one in April. Before and after the All-Star break. Remember, shortened season. And we beat them once at home, and then we beat them at their home, and then we beat them at home. So, not too bad. Of course, slightly different team from last season. Let's take a quick peek. February 1st. Knicks in the third quarter. Always going to be looking at that first. But nothing too crazy. The fourth. 21 points. They got off. Both teams kind of got off to a hot start in the first and the second. In the third, it kind of kept up. But then the Bulls kind of pulled away in the fourth, is what that looks like. Julius Randles had a double-double, almost a triple-double. RJ helped with 14 and 8. Alec Burks and Emmanuel Quickley. Oh, great. Good for them. Good for them. 18 points on 6 of 12 for Alec Burks, and 16 points, 5 of 13. It might be a little bit different now, but 42% from the field, 20% from 3, which is probably you lose when you shoot yourself in the foot. So that's why I think getting quality shots is important. Higher percentage shots is fantastic, but the quality of the shot and having the ability to shoot a shot with as less duress, under less duress as possible. That's what I think is fun and quality, good basketball. Zach LaVine had 21. Kobe White had 13. I wonder how Kobe White's going to, what that kind of guard, that three guard, that Kobe White, Lonzo Ball, and Alex Caruso group will look like, and how that will go up against the Emmanuel Quickley, Alec Burks, and D Rose lineup. So that'd be interesting. That'd be pretty cool to see. I wonder, because offensively they would be really good. I think perimeter defense. Maybe the Chicago Bulls might be better with those three against the Knicks three that I said. Maybe perimeter defense might be better, but when it comes to savviness and finding the open person, I think Alonzo helps helps the Bulls a bit more. So it'll be pretty cool to see. So they won this game. They had how many people? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people in double figures, and we had 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 5 seems to be the standard for teams now in double figures. So you're seeing a lot of ball movement. You're hoping for assists, right? 21 assists to their 30 assists. So steals, 6. That's great. Turnovers and personal fouls, 12 and 19, 11 and 19. Assists are really good. It means that you found your teammate who had the ability to score. And then we, quick turnaround, February 3rd, right away. And this time we, in the first quarter, 34-17. Knicks in this case. So when I look at the third game, I want to see the Knicks in the fourth quarter. Something, whatchamacallit, a story to talk about coming into the series against the Bulls. The fourth quarter performance. Even though we won, we still gave them an opportunity to come. These nail biters. And now with Kemba on the roster, Cardiac Kemba. Randall helped, 27. RJ, nice. And that's it. 3 players in double figures, but 50%. We did shoot better from 3, and then we did shoot better from the field. And 19 assists to their 25 assists. And who helped? Zach LaVine, Kobe White, Patrick Williams, who was their rookie. Markkanen is gone, and Thad Young. Denzel Valentine is gone. I think he's on the Cavs. Oh, Devin Dotson. I wonder if he's related to Damian Dotson. And then the third game, I think Nikola Vucevic was traded at this point after, because this is after the All-Star break. Knicks, okay, so not necessarily, it's not a story, but it's a note that the Knicks may have a tendency to underperform in the fourth quarter. But I will say the last 2 performances, here's another story. The last 2 performances, the Knicks against the Bulls, they've been able to, in the first quarter, they've been able to stop them really well, hold them under 20 points. So that's a story. You can find a story in that. Yeah, you see Vucevic, 26. And who else? Yeah, Markkanen was done at this point. 45% from the field, 34% from 3, 29 assists. Stole the ball only twice. And only 4 blocks. Knicks stole the ball 10 times. 9 blocks. Fouled a lot, though. 16 fouls. But Randall and RJ came up. That's what this team needs to be. I think the identity, once you have to establish... I know Fournier's great at shooting threes for now because the season just started. And it's lovely. But we need to focus more on the fact that this team is an Randall, RJ. Find them and move off the ball so that they can find you guys. So Evan Fournier can get his, some games his 22 points on 4 of 6 shooting from behind the 3-point line because he's being found and then he's finding people. And that's how he can get a bit better. The back and forth and increase your assists game, especially for this team. Now the Bulls, because they're going to want to try to find each other, whether or not how that works and how they work defensively. And where were we when we played them? February 1st, February 3rd, and April 28th. We had won and then we lost, but we were 10 and 13, so we were still kind of trying to find our way. And then April, where were we? So at this point, we were getting ahead. We had just come off our 9-game win streak. We had lost to the Suns, but then we came back and won our 3-game win streak right after. And for the Bulls, they were 8. Okay, they were still trying to find themselves as well in February. And then come April, They had lost the ability to find themselves, and they were 10 games under 500 when they played us. Win loss, and then they would eventually, after they lost, once they lost against us, they would lose 3 more games after that. And yo-yo, win loss, chunks of wins, chunks of losing, bits of wins here. They really didn't have a semblance of hope after, I think, January. So within a span of 10, 20 days, the hope kind of just lost. 500 in January, but that's really about it. Tough. And then these big chunks of games. Lost against the Cavs. Yeah, because they go up again. It'll be different this season. Now, just a little look at, how do you pronounce his name? Ayo Dosunmu from Illinois. Nice. Oh, so he's home. Hometown kid. And I'm going to leave this, guys, if you want to pause, and I'm just going to kind of skim through and see what happened and just pick out notes and keywords. Aggressive scoring guard, best guards in the country, strides as a shooter and a passer. Jordan Brand Classic, the Chicago native emerged as a contributor, 13 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, averaging 16.6 points per game his sophomore year. He's 6'4", 200 pounds with a 6'8" wingspan. He's a good-sized shooting guard, fluid athlete, impressive court speed, improved shooter, improved scorer, and heady passer. Offense. I'm hearing offense. I'm seeing a lot of offense. He makes strides in the pick and roll passer. So he has the ability. If he's going to be used, I think they're going to look for ways for him to offense. So if he gets 3 shots, he'll try his best to find the 3 shots and make a pass or something like that, depending on how much time he gets. Fast break is what I'm seeing. Transition, pull up. I'm seeing all these sort of offensive type of maneuvers and all these offensive type of words. 45% of his shots from half court on pull up, jump shots, and floaters. So he's going to try to get his opponent off of him. He's going to try to shake his opponent, which means stop and go, picks, things along that nature. Anything to bob and sort of weave. So we got to try to cut the lane out of him, cut his lane off, and get him to try his best to dump the ball based off being indecisive. So it's a lot of trapping. It's a lot of maybe a little bit of mind games as well, and physically you have to impose yourself. Now let's look at the Bulls overall. The season is upon us, and the Chicago Bulls, but also the Knicks are 2-0. Milwaukee just got blown out. I want to take a look at stats for them and see what they're doing. Levine, 33 points a game right now. DeRozan, 21. Lonzo's 14. Man, these guys rebound the ball. Oof, they rebound the ball and they pass the ball to each other as well. That might be it'll be a little tough. We'll see what happens. But we do have an increased sense of passing. I want to know what the Bulls will do in moments when they're on an 11-0 run or a 13-0 run. What happens when that lead goes away? Or what happens when they have that lead? And if they have the ability to maintain and go up 20, because right now we saw that the Knicks have that ability against an Orlando Magic team, of course, right? But they have the ability to just completely pile upon. And sure, they went down from 34 to 18, but they quickly stopped that. Caruso is about 6 points. Okay, so their main roster seems to be Lonzo, Levine, DeRozan starting at the 3, Patrick Williams, and Vucevic, with Caruso as their 6th man. They got Javonte Green coming off the bench as their backup point guard. Interesting. If you see they get good. So Vucevic gets good offensive rebounds. It would be fantastic if Mitch took the opportunity to focus on Vooch and just mostly box out. Just box the guy out. Get in the guy's face, box him out. That would be best. Levine's gonna want to rebound. These guys are rebounding guards, so it'll be a little tough. They rebound and they pass. And DeRozan's a good passer too, because at one point DeRozan was averaging six assists a game, and they steal the ball too. Vooch steals the ball, but he also turns the ball over. Levine also turns the ball over as well. That's the thing. His athleticism will be there, and he'll want to shoot. If we can make it so that he's turnover prone, right? Right now, Vooch is kind of leading most of the team in like the grit stats. Lonzo on the assist stats, and I want to look at their depth. Lonzo, Levine, DeRozan, Patrick Williams. Let's take a look at Williams really quick. Oh, he's made a 3. Okay, he seems to be the power forward, the guy to kind of fill in so that this way you have a bench, which seems to be nice. That's good for him. It's a tough team. It's a tough team, and here's a little bit of the transactions. It's a tough team, and they're a strong team. They have beautiful offensive abilities, and also defensively, they're not exactly the worst. Can they be exposed? Potentially. Do they have the ability to kind of get up on a team and show no mercy? Yeah, no problem. Don't seem to really have any issues right now from an injury perspective. Kobe White, I think, is out, but it said that they were confident. Their rookie isn't really playing too much. Let's see if he's even gotten any time. 2 games, 7 minutes per game. Trying. He seems to be working for himself. So this team really uses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 7 players at a time. The Knicks do about the same. Sometimes 6 to 7 Thibs. So now let's take a look when the Knicks will meet the Bulls and see what their matchup is. And based off this, give an impression and an opinion. October 28th, November 21st, December 2nd, and March 28th. Okay, so 3 months in a row we see them. 2 games away, and then the next 2 games home. So after we do a 2-game home stretch, it's 2 games away. Let's see. November, we do a 3-game home stretch. We go away to Chicago, but then we come back. I could see the November game being a win. The first game maybe being a loss. December, where are you, Chicago? December 2nd. Quick turnaround after we could probably, that game might be tough. If we can get that Chicago game, that would be tough. That's a bit of a murderer's row. After we go against the Pacers, be prepared, Knicks fans. After November 20th, all the way up to maybe December 7th, that's going to be some very tough basketball where our patience will be tested. This team will be tested. So if we can steal this win, I'm going to predict a loss. So far 1-2 against the Bulls. And then the next one is in March 28th. Home. 2-2, I would say, so far from what I'm getting. So for them, they're at Toronto, which isn't too far, and they come down for 2 games. They're going to have a hard time after, because they got to play Utah, Boston, Philly twice, Brooklyn, Dallas. They're going to have a very hard stretch right after. So I think we could lose. I think Knicks could lose the first game. They'll win the second game. And then after this, they have a little bit of an easy trek. Indiana, they could beat. I think Houston, they could beat. Orlando, they can beat. Miami could potentially, but we'll see what happens. Charlotte, I think they can win the third matchup. The Bulls, I would say, might have an easier time, because look at December for the Knicks. That December 2nd game. Yeah, it'll be very tough. And I'm just guessing, of course. So for the Bulls, I would say they win the first game, Knicks win the second game, Bulls win the third game, Knicks will win the fourth game. And then March, just to be on the safe side. Although they don't have a hard schedule either. After they see the Suns, Raptors on the 21st of March, Bucks on the 22nd of March, and they're away also. So they got to go, think about it. 22nd March, they got to go to Milwaukee. Then the 24th of March down to New Orleans. 26th of March up to Cleveland. 28th of March down to New York. 29th of March down to Washington. And then they're home for 5 games from the 31st of March till April 8th. 2-2. That's what I think. And that's what I'm going to go with. Tough offensive team. I think this squad knows how to rebound, knows how to pass the ball. The Bulls, that is, knows how to rebound, knows how to pass the ball, knows how to score the ball. I want to see what they do outside of things like timeouts in the first quarter. Let's see what they do. The Bulls. For the Knicks, I think we're really going to have to take advantage of turnovers and of their turnovers. Make sure that they turn the ball over. We don't want them to get hot, so don't get them into a rhythm, which means transition offense, steals, and disassociating them from the game, making them question themselves and their plays. It's going to be, I think, a defensive grind will have to happen. And I'm hoping that it's not a shootout, because with a team like this, with the Bulls, it would be hard to outshoot them, I believe. For now, we'll see what happens. Thanks, guys.